Who is he? Another Mao Zedong? A new Deng Xiaoping? A man reshaping China and the international order in ways few ever imagined. In this video, we'll dive into his personality, his ideas, his strategy, and his legacy. He is Xi Jinping, one of the most powerful men in the world today. If you're fascinated by history, politics, and the figures who are shaping the 21st century, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss our next analysis. Xi Jinping was born in 1953 in Beijing, the son of Xi Zhongxun, one of the veteran revolutionaries who fought side by side with Mao Zedong to found the People's Republic of China. But his childhood was far from peaceful. During the Cultural Revolution, 1966 to 1976, his father was purged and Xi himself was sent to the countryside for re-education through labor. Those harsh years, living in mud, poverty, and hardship, forged in him a temperament that was cold, resilient, and patient. After his political rehabilitation, Xi studied chemical engineering at Tsinghua University, then began working his way up from modest local positions. Unlike many other princelings who relied heavily on family connections, Xi chose the hard path, rising from the grassroots. He held posts in faraway provinces like Fujian and Zhejiang, and later in Shanghai. Step by step, he built a reputation as a leader who was practical and close to the people. Xi proved that he was not just the son of a revolutionary hero, but a politician with his own resilience and authority. Those who worked with him often described him as both simple and unpredictable. A calm, reserved figure who rarely showed emotion, preferred detailed reports, and made decisions with striking decisiveness. If Mao was a fiery revolutionary and Deng a pragmatic reformer, then Xi is a calm but determined consolidator. He accumulates power not through charisma, but through structures, institutions, and the tightening grip of centralization. Instead of fiery slogans, he favors a consistent sequence of long-term strategic moves. His thinking blends Mao's ideology, putting the party above all, with Deng's pragmatism, focusing on economic and technological growth, while adding something new, a global ambition. At the heart of Xi Jinping thought, now enshrined in the party's constitution, are the Chinese dream, national rejuvenation, restoring China's position as a world superpower; socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era; tight political control combined with selective economic reform; grand centralization, building a wealthy, unified state capable of exercising the highest level of social control. If Mao was the revolutionary founder who made China stand up by breaking free of Western dominance, if Deng was the architect of reform and opening who made China prosper, then Xi is the architect of national rejuvenation, driven by the ambition to transform China into a global superpower. A China not only wealthy and strong, but also respected and even feared on the world stage. To achieve this, Xi has crafted a foreign policy that is both tough and flexible, blending soft power with hard power, combining cooperation with confrontation. Relations with the United States. If one phrase could capture it all, it would be comprehensive strategic competition. On trade, Xi insists that China must never fall into dependence. The trade war with Donald Trump and later the semiconductor clash with Joe Biden all showed Beijing's determination not to be dictated to by Washington. On the military front, as the U.S. expands its presence in the Indo-Pacific, strengthens Taiwan, and brings Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines into a containment arc against China, Xi accelerates the modernization of the PLA. That means upgrading the Navy, Air Force, ground forces, developing hypersonic missiles, and investing heavily in high-tech weaponry. On diplomacy, Xi avoids direct confrontation, instead laying out a long-term game, expanding influence through the Belt and Road Initiative, the digital yuan, and alternative institutions such as the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Xi knows the U.S. is China's #1 rival, but he also knows that a direct military clash would be catastrophic. His strategy? Prolong the struggle, compete and cooperate at once, buy time while elevating China's position. Relations with Russia. With Vladimir Putin, Xi has built a rare personal friendship in international politics. Russia offers China cheap energy, military technology, and a partner that shares the goal of dismantling U.S. unipolar dominance. Yet Beijing is cautious. Xi does not want to be dragged into the Ukraine war. Publicly, China calls for neutrality and peace talks. In practice, it quietly supports Russia through trade, finance, and supply of key components. For Xi, Russia is a vital strategic partner to counter the US and NATO, but also a brother who could easily become a burden. That's why the China-Russia relationship is best described as a strategic partnership, but not a military alliance. Relations with North Korea. With Pyongyang, Xi maintains warm ties with Kim Jong-un, helping North Korea avoid being completely suffocated by international sanctions. But China also fears North Korea's nuclear brinkmanship could destabilize the region. Thus, Beijing plays a balancing act, providing aid, exercising control, and using Pyongyang as a bargaining chip. Xi's strategy: keep North Korea within China's orbit, prevent Washington from pulling it away, but never let it slip beyond Beijing's control. Relations with Vietnam. Hanoi holds a special place in Xi's calculations. Ideologically, the two ruling parties share a socialist path, providing political solidarity. Economically, China is Vietnam's largest trading partner, with deeply intertwined supply chains. But geopolitically, the South China Sea dispute ensures constant tension. While China expands military presence and builds artificial islands, Vietnam skillfully balances by engaging the US, Japan, and India. Xi understands Vietnam will never fully lean toward China, but cannot escape its economic gravity either. His policy, a dual track of charm and pressure, party-to-party diplomacy, economic ties combined with soft military coercion. Relations with BRICS. If the US is the rival and Russia the partner, then BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, now expanded, is where Xi's global vision comes alive. He sees BRICS as a counterweight to the G7, a platform to unite the non-Western world. China leverages financial power, investment, and trade to pull developing nations into its orbit. Above all, Xi wants to push de-dollarization, elevating the yuan's role in global trade. But tensions remain. India is both partner and geopolitical rival. Brazil and South Africa often pursue diverging policies. Hence, Xi must carefully position himself as the unofficial leader of BRICS, while avoiding the perception that it is merely a tool of Beijing. The foreign policy equation. Xi's diplomacy is a blend of strength and patience, ambition and caution. He does not shy away from confrontation, challenging the US around Taiwan, the South China Sea, and the East China Sea, and expanding China's influence in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Yet he knows where the red lines are and works hard to avoid a direct collision. To sum it up, with the US, the top rival, fight but don't break. With Russia, a strategic partner, yet keep distance. With North Korea, a bargaining chip, but one to control. With Vietnam, a neighbor, both cooperation and competition. With BRICS, the foundation for a multipolar dream. At home, power consolidation. If abroad Xi projects strength, at home he consolidates control. His domestic rule rests on three pillars. First and foremost, the anti-corruption campaigns. The sweeping tigers and flies drive has taken down hundreds of senior officials, from Zhou Yongkang, the once all-powerful security chief, to top generals Xu Kai-ho and Guo Baoxiong, to political stars like Bo Xilai and Sun Zhengkai. These tigers came from every faction: security, the military, the Communist Youth League, local strongholds. Each purge not only reassured the public that corruption was being punished, but also tightened Xi's absolute grip on power. After waves of purges, Xi emerged as the most powerful Chinese leader since Mao Zedong. Secondly, Xi has tightened social control, expanding mass surveillance through technology, rolling out the controversial social credit system, restricting freedom of speech, and consolidating the party's absolute authority. Thirdly, he has championed Made in China, pushing for economic self-reliance and technological independence. Under his leadership, China has poured resources into high-tech sectors, semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and military equipment, with the goal of reducing dependence on foreign powers. In this sense, Xi has left a profound mark. For the first time in 4 decades of reform, China has stepped up as a direct challenger to the United States, something neither Mao nor Deng truly achieved. Yet, Xi faces formidable challenges. China's economy shows signs of stagnation, with a property crisis and soaring youth unemployment. The tech and trade rivalry with Washington grows sharper by the day. Internationally, Beijing's image has eroded, with skepticism over the Belt and Road Initiative and accusations of debt-trap diplomacy. Within the party, tensions linger, especially after Tsai broke the 2-term precedent, concentrating power in his own hands. If we draw comparisons, Mao Zedong was a revolutionary who ruled through ideology. He created a new China, but also dragged the country into tragic upheavals like the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution. Deng Xiaoping was a pragmatic reformer who put the economy first. He opened China to the West, famously saying, "It doesn't matter if the cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice." Xi Jinping is neither another Mao nor another Deng. He blends Mao's ideological centralization and emphasis on party supremacy with Deng's selective pragmatism in economic reform. What sets him apart is that Xi refuses to hide in the shadows. Instead, he openly positions China as a direct rival to the United States. Above all, he pursues one goal: to link his legacy to the Chinese dream, a vision of a strong, powerful China that can stand equal to or even surpass America.